Howdy folks, this is Tony here, and as you can see, I've got a new 13 Keys tracker here, except this one has far more factors in favor of the Republicans, and over here, instead of saying Joe Biden, it says Kamala Harris. Why, might you ask? Because today Joe Biden just dropped out of the race. Now, let's get into it. I am going to defend why I chose these 13 keys to be turned this way and why I think this is the truth. So much has happened, especially due to Trump surviving the assassination attempt and his immediate reaction in the aftermath, that I would even argue that at this point, I need to rethink my previous analysis that had Kamala Harris almost beating Trump in the Electoral College. I think that needs to change as well. Now let's talk about these. Obviously, the midterm gains weakly favor Republicans because they barely retook the House and failed to capture the Senate in the process. There is now a primary contest because although Kamala Harris is the Democrat with the most clout within the party right now, legally, she still has to run and win the delegates to officially be considered Biden's replacement nominee. Biden just dropped out of the race, so they don't have an incumbent seeking re-election. Now, Kamala Harris as a vice president is kind of a pseudo-incumbent. However, Trump has actually been full president before, so he is also a pseudo-incumbent. Democrats just lost their incumbency advantage. When it was Trump v. Biden, it was president versus president. Now it's president versus vice president. One of them clearly has a stronger resume, and I think that's going to appeal to swing voters. There is still no major third-party contest. You could make an argument over RFK Jr., but the problem with RFK is that he is not on enough ballots in enough states to have access to 270. He's not going to be on enough ballots for that. Also, his popularity ratings are not high enough to cause him to run away with the election. The economy, short-term and long-term, both favor Republicans because, again, the Biden-Harris administration has done a horrible job on the economy, and most of the new jobs getting created are going to legal immigrants. Anyway, Americans are starving. Groceries are expensive. Layoffs abound. So as a result, I'd say the economic factors favor Republicans. Major policy change. Biden did use executive orders to get some student loan debt forgiveness. Even though the Supreme Court said that's illegal, he still found a way to do it anyway, and that will garner support for Democrats in some way. No social unrest strongly favors Republicans because think about it. The Republican candidate just got shot. And since October 7th, there have been pro-Hamas riots in the streets. So I would say social unrest is a serious threat right now. No scandal. Anybody who thinks that the Biden administration did not have a scandal had not seen that presidential debate between Trump and Biden. His cognitive decline was on full display there. So as a result, I think that this is going to cause a lot of questions for the Biden-Harris administration over how bad is he, and if Biden is not fit enough to run, how can he be fit enough to serve and stay as president for the last few months of his term? Not to mention Kamala Harris rising to the top of the ticket. In a debate with Trump, Kamala Harris is going to be faced with the question, how much of Biden's decline did you know, and when did you know it, and why did you hide his decline from the rest of the nation? Why didn't you take over like you were supposed to? And that's going to make Kamala look bad, look like somebody who does not know how to lead when it's necessary. So I would say that's a major scandal. Obviously, Biden militarily failed in keeping Ukraine from being attacked, as well as failed in Afghanistan, and 13 soldiers got killed as a result of it, as well as the fact that Israel is now in hot war in Yemen. So the world's gone to hell militarily, and that's all Biden's fault. Charismatic incumbent. Joe Biden is not charismatic, nor is Kamala Harris. Listen to the woman speak. Everything is what can be, unburdened by what has been. And she's very nasally. She's not good speaking off the cuff. She's basically a brown Hillary Clinton in that regard, only not well spoken. I used to think that essentially Kamala Harris was basically Obama with two X chromosomes, but I was wrong. She's not nearly as gifted a public speaker as he was. She's not a female Obama. She's more or less a brown Hillary Clinton in terms of the shrilly voice and the cackling and how that annoying persona that she has is going to turn off swing voters in the Midwest. So that's something to look at. uncharismatic challenger. Actually, Trump used to not be charismatic, but after he survived getting shot and stood up and waved his fist defiantly, I just want to show you something. Again, this guy uses foul language. I came across this. I'm only going to show you a few seconds of it.
He's officially black now, bro. That's beautiful.
Did you hear what this comedian just said? He said Trump is officially black now because the idea of him surviving being in jail, surviving getting shot, standing up and waving his fist angrily, he's going to resonate with black men who feel as though the justice system is unfair, who've been shot at themselves. They turned Trump into a black guy from the hood with what they did. In fact, you can check YouTube. You'll see parodies of G-Unit's song Many Men by 50 Cent. You'll see parodies of that where it's Trump singing instead. Now, Trump didn't really sing. They just made an AI recreation of his voice. But the fact of the matter is, he's been shot. He's been to jail. He's got 34 felonies. He's going to strongly appeal to black men who view America as an inherently unjust system. And if he leans into that and talks about how Kamala Harris put people in jail unfairly when she was AG of California, he might actually end up splitting the black vote. You heard that comedian just now. Trump has a black card now, so he's become very charismatic. So I think he's going to be a serious threat to Kamala Harris at this point. At this point, I no longer think Kamala is going to be a threat to Trump. I think Trump's a serious threat to Kamala. Let's revisit the map. Trump's charisma, I'm going to boldly predict, is going to lock down Georgia, North Carolina, and even Virginia in the Republican column. And I think that Kamala Harris being so shrilly and annoying in her presentation and being something of a detached elitist is going to put Michigan and Wisconsin out of reach for Democrats this term. Now, I do think that Arizona might still go blue because, again, it's going blue off a cliff. Nevada stays in the Republican column, and I think Nebraska is going to be fully locked down. And there you go. That's my final tally. That's what I actually think. Actually, Pennsylvania is going to go red in this scenario as well. So I think in my final electoral count, this doesn't actually show the final count. Here we go. I think Trump is going to win 315 to 223 against Kamala Harris. I think it's basically going to be a revision of the 2016 election, only swap Nevada and Arizona, as well as add Virginia to the map. And this is what I think is going to happen. I think Trump is going to strongly and soundly defeat Kamala Harris. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.